your commentary today. He's Swedish and I'm not, so hopefully you enjoy that. We'll see. Yeah, I'll be referring to myself as this for the rest of the tournament, but here we go. We're starting, and I don't know about you, Swessy, but I am hyped.
I'm actually a bit tired, but hopefully over this race we actually get a bit more hyped, so we can get some good commentary going after a while. So we're starting off prologue.
Yeah, you can talk about it. Go on.
Okay, so prologue is very simple. You jump a lot because it's faster than walking. You grab onto things, and you can also climb walls. And soon we'll meet our friendly bird here that will give us magical powers, sort of.
The magical power of dashing, which you know, it's a little bit different from Usain Bolt because we can dash in all 8 cardinal directions. That's a word that I learned through this tournament, actually.
Didn't even know that. Very nice to know.
Yeah, good to know, huh? Right at the start of this, you're going to see a dash jump, which is where you dash and then you jump straight after it, and you can see you get a little bit of height there, so you get to clear certain gaps pretty quickly.
Yeah, utilized a lot in this first chapter, especially is wall bounces where you dash upwards and then jump away from the wall, which gives you a ton of height on your wall jumps. Mickey there with an unfortunate death in the early screens here. Msushi there going for the reverse extended hyper dash there on the little platform. Manages to get it very nicely over those spikes there.
And reverse basically means that you start the dash in one direction, and then during the middle of the combo, the button combo, you switch directions. So it's a reverse there. And extended means basically if you jump a certain amount of time after your dash, you regain your dash in the air. So you get to go an extra bit of distance, as we see there.
Yeah, so Mickey also actually went for the same strategy with the reverse wave dash instead, which is very interesting to see. I haven't actually seen anyone use that. So wave dash is basically like a hyper dash, except that you start from the air and dash down into the ground. Mushi now going to utilize a little bit of corner jump down to spikes to clear that very nicely, and then some. It's hit by the spike here, but he's going to do some neutral wall jumps here to conserve his stamina and clearing this wall. A little bit slower than you probably could, but still very nicely done there. Mickeynow also about to finish up here with the last couple rooms. Oh, accidentally walks off the edge there, but gets that second try. Ooh, just goes straight for it. That's very nice.
The setupless from Mickeynow, where he doesn't grab the wall above to make it a lot easier, but that is a decent Forsaken City from him. I'm sure he'll be a little bit disappointed, but there are some tournament nerves here, so. And being this far behind Msushi at this point isn't too bad, because we know that Msushi is a really solid runner. He has a 35-minute PB, and Mickeynow, his PB on the leaderboards at least is a 46 from 4 months ago. So to be this close to Msushi at this point is pretty good.
Msushi that with a little save there in the little secret cabinet, getting through there, using a little bit of glitch there with the dream block, getting the white coordinate above the dream block before the cutscene starts. Then keeps that position inside the dream block actually. And Mickey going for it, but just barely missed it as well.
And now we have Sushi on our left going into the Badalin fight. So if you play the story, you'll understand who Badalin is, but for now it's just like an evil person that we have to run away from. So in this chase, Badalin is about 3 seconds behind us, or exactly 3 seconds behind us actually, and we have to keep tabs on where we moved in the past 3 seconds to make sure that we avoid her. And we'll see in certain strats in these rooms, you have to be very careful because you go back on yourself in the route, so you have to make sure that you don't like go the exact route that you went the first time round, because you're probably going to hit Badalin.
Yeah, so in the room which is now, that's the first instance of this. Getting a nice dash through there through melons. This room especially can be incredibly punishing. It's a very long room with a long fall in the middle of it. Then with a bad line section at the end where you have to sort of try to avoid all of them. So we'll see how it does this here.
Very clean from Msushi though. Gets through them with no deaths.
Mickeynow also in the last room, having a really good ult side so far actually, so very nice there. Finishing up that very, very cleanly. Really well done for making this ult side.
Yeah, he's definitely saved a decent amount of time on Msushi. Msushi had quite a few deaths in the early portion of the chapter, and Mickey has capitalized and has definitely brought the lead down quite a lot.
Msushi now in the little awake section here, which is a lot of movement and some fairly precise jumps. There's a lot of ways you can just lose momentum randomly, or well, semi-randomly, by hitting random corners. But it gets through very, very cleanly. Mickey following suit here on the last little part as well.
And I can tell you right now that Mickey looks like he's done his practice. He's doing really, really well so far. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting a better time than the leaderboard time of 46 minutes that he currently has.
Yeah, it's a 209 old side for his PB is very impressive actually. So really well done by Mickey there.
Okay, so on Sushi's screen here, and now on Mickey's screen, he's only 15 seconds behind right now. We're coming into Celestial Resort. And Celestial Resort, we see all these dust creatures, they're little black blobs that fly around, and they're on set cycles, and we have to be very, very careful about dealing with those cycles, and our speed strats adapt to the cycles that we're given. There's also a different cycle from when you enter a room to after you die and respawn at the start of the room, so players have to know their death cycles as well in case they die, and have to react to the cycle that they're given.
Absolutely. We also see the first instance of keys here, and can you guess what keys do? They unlock doors, or locks actually.
Get out. Really?
I know, it's amazing.
That's crazy.
Also, on Msushi's screen here, there's another way to move blocks with these coins or lock switches. You have to collect all in a room, and then you move the blocks that they're attached to, basically. Sushi now in a couple screens gonna go into the huge mess. Which is a kind of annoying section to speedrun because there are a lot of really narrow pathways that you have to navigate through, with some semi-precise dashes here to get through it as quickly as possible. But Msushi not having any problem and is absolutely running through this mess anyway. Mickey has some problems there in that little room with the circling dust bunnies, but gets through it very nicely at the end.
Right, so Msushi right here is going through the first path out of 3 for the huge mess section. Each path has a button at the end that clears a lot of rubbish, and as you see, it went for a spike jump right there, and that's when you jump and under the spikes, and if you're moving away from the spikes on the wall bounce, then the hitbox doesn't exist, the spikes don't hit you, so if you're moving away from them, you can get away with that. But each of these 3 sections are planned out by speedrunners to be done in the optimal order, partly because of the rubbish that they clears paths that they can do for different strategies in each section, but also Oshiro's positioning, that's the hotel manager that we keep talking to, by the way, is set after each time you hit a button. So the idea is that after each section, we're really, really close to Oshiro when we get back to the huge mess room, so we can just continue on our path.
Mickeynow in the first section of Future Mess as well, having a bit of trouble here with these first couple of rooms. Cycles can be fairly tricky to deal with, especially if you mess up, since we talked about the death cycles that are slightly different to the enter cycles. A lot of these rooms in particular have quite a lot of worse death cycles than enter cycles, so dealing with them can be a bit troublesome. Msushi in the final part here in the little pool area. It's been going at a very, very good pace so far for Resort, I would say.
Yeah, and he's hit all 3 buttons, so he can make his way to the key now, which has now been unlocked, and straight over here to the gate. So we can keep going off to the elevator section.
Sushi, they're going for the little ultra dash strat. So if you hyper and then do a down diagonal dash, you keep a lot of the momentum from that dash in a down diagonal position. Which turns into an ultra dash, and you use it there to get through that room really, really quickly. It's one of the fastest. It's probably the fastest way to move, actually. It's just really cool to see.
Yeah, we see that littered throughout the tool-assisted speedrun of this game, but unfortunately, it's very, very difficult to do RTA. So you won't see a lot of them throughout the run, but they're certainly making their way into more common strats now.
So usually there with these chain hypers to get to that key very, very quickly, and then doing a retry because you actually keep your key after you die. So it's a lot faster to just retry to the entrance of the room than rather than just going back through it normally. Mickeynow also has finished up the huge mess and is going to the elevator shaft. Meanwhile, Sushi is going to the fight against the hotel manager Shiro, who has turned out to be a little bit mad at us for not staying at his wonderful hotel.
He just wants you to stay at his hotel. That's it. But yeah, so he's chasing us now, and he locks on to our horizontal, vertical position, and zooms in on you. You get a bit of a warning with this lightning bolt that extends across the entire screen, so you get a bit of a warning, which is nice for us speedrunners. But to be honest, we just tend to we know exactly what we're doing in each room. We know what strat we're going to be using, so we know how to dodge Oshiro as best as possible.
Yeah. So just like everything else, it's also on a cycle. The cycle for Shiro is the same on death and entry, but the dust bunnies that you want to avoid is still different cycles. So you still have to keep in mind the two different strats depending on how well the room is going for you. So she's having a bit of trouble here with this room. Hopefully he's gonna clear it now. Yeah, looks like it.
And it must be said that unlike a lot of other rooms in the game, these ones are very punishing, and a lot of the boss fights ones are in this game, because you can't just stop for a minute or pause or regain yourself and then think about what strat to do next. But that was an excellent last room there from Msushi on the first attempt, so that was really, really solid and decent resort time.
Absolutely. Mickeynow also getting into the Mickeynow now getting into the Oshiro section. I hope you looked at that really bad pun. More from me very soon.
Oh yeah, you're full of puns. We now see Msushi in Golden Ridge, and hopefully we won't hear any more Golden Ridge related puns from Swessy throughout the course of this level. But
it won't be. But you might see Sushi's doing some very raw strats.
Oh no. Okay. Well, Swessy's just been cancelled, so unfortunately you just have me for the rest of this race. But yeah, this chapter has wind, as we can see. It's wind. It pushes you to the left, pushes you to the right. And later on in the game, we may even see it push us other directions, which is pretty crazy to think about. We have some more lock switches here, and the most important mechanic, I think, personally, is these clouds, because as you can see, you can get some really, really high bounces off of them. And if you end up doing a dash jump while on those clouds, not only do you get the usual height from a dash jump, but you also get the extra height from the cloud, which throws you up.
Mickey there with really, really nice last room there in this year fight, and finishing up, I think about a minute behind Sushi with a 6:33 resort. It's still a really good time. So, Sushi here with a little auto skip there. A very recurring mechanic you'll see here is the use of momentum from moving blocks. They add a huge amount of speed to your own dashes, so it's going to be used in a lot of places to skip different things. So if you just see a random burst of speed, then it's probably from a moving block.
Right, and we just saw an example of an extended hyper off of a cloud there, which gives you an insane amount of distance and height, so it's a bit of a mix of both. So again, we're using the momentum of these clouds that bounce us upwards to get some really, really cool jumps and skips.
So he's now in the second auto-scroller, and in a couple rooms he's gonna be getting the harsh wind section. It's gonna make you basically unable to walk, but of course, since we're speedrunners, we have a bunch of speed tech at our disposal, so we'll still see him flying through the rooms fairly quickly here in just a little bit.
Right, this chapter you'll see some of the biggest differences between casual play and speedrunning, as Msushi goes for a really, really difficult cycle-based strat there and gets it perfectly, because as you can see, we can do some really, really speedy things with our dashes, so the wind going backwards doesn't really affect us as much as a casual player would. And snowballs. Would you like to talk a little bit about snowballs, Swessy?
I'm not sure. I want to keep this PG, and I don't think I can do that. So go ahead and talk about them.
Okay, yeah, I have slightly less problems with you do because I'm a better speedrunner. But snowballs are similar to Oshiro, as they lock into your Y coordinate position and they zoom from the right side of the screen and usually hit you. You get hit a lot, especially when you start out running. So they're very, very dangerous, but we know exactly when they're going to be coming across the screen, basically, so if you stick to your normal strategy of going through the screen, then you should be fine and you should be dodging the snowballs. I just like to apologize to you, Swessy. I didn't mean that. And
No,
I hope
you
can forgive
did
me.
mean that. I know it. So thanks.
I didn't. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Mickeynow also I think he's about like 3 or 4 rooms away from the Harshwind section as well, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see him join the Msushi from Mirror Temple in a couple minutes there. So do you want to talk about the Mirror Temple mechanics too, or should I?
I think you've done that in every commentary we've done so far, and you do it flawlessly. So I'll leave it up to you.
Alright. So we're gonna see first these dash blocks that move when you dash in the room on their little path. We have the red bubbles. That's an infinite dash. Either until you dash out of them or until you hit a wall. And a little bit later, we're gonna meet our wonderful friends that I definitely love interacting with.
Aren't they great? They're just like a bundle of fun, really nice. Invite you around for a cup of tea, you know, the standard things.
So Msushi did a little bit of skip there, where he does a wave dash over the. I think it was a wave dash. I believe, but he did a wave dash over the spikes there to skip having to go to the left and get a bubble. Yeah. Mickeynow also going for the. Ooh, he barely misses it. So there's a fast strat there where you use the wind cycle to your advantage. He barely missed it, but gets the second try very nicely there, going into the harsh wind section there on the screen.
Msushi is currently in a section where it looks like that's a pretty secret hidden bubble, and you'd be right to assume that the developers put that in so you could skip having to get a key to open that door. It just speeds up this section quite a lot, and there's actually a skip later on in this chapter with a similar mindset.
Yeah, and the reason that skip is even in there is actually because of a certain collectible that you can find if you have a key from earlier, but we're not going to spoil that because we don't have to, basically. Now we're gonna meet these lovely friends that never cause me trouble. The Seekers here. First we're gonna play as them. We're gonna go ahead and try to eat ourselves. It's definitely a cool metaphor. And then they're actually gonna be an enemy that we will have to deal with in just a couple rooms here.
Right, so we just saw one of the intentional deaths of the run there from Msushi, killing himself with a Seeker, as we call them. Well, as we're meant to officially call them. We can't use the certain language that I think we'd like to describe them as, but yeah, so we're going to see a little tight section here, some cool movement there from Msushi to get some momentum off of the dash block by dashing in the same direction that it's moving. So some really interesting mechanic uses here. And one of the key things, get it, key things about the Seekers is that you can manipulate their position to hit those lock keys to open up the doors. So that's used a lot throughout the section that you'll notice.
So Mickeynow has also finished Golden Ridge and going into Mirror Temple about 2.5 minutes behind at this point, which is still not bad at all. So we could see Mickey getting a very decent time. Msushi now in the last couple of rooms. This room especially is it can be incredibly hard. It's a fairly long room where you have to go and deal with the Seeker quite a lot, but he does a cool little strat there where he actually bops the Seeker on the head right at the start to not have to deal with him. That's very nicely done there by Msushi. Now we're coming up on Search Skip.
Did you say search skip?
Oh, I did talk about Search Skip. Do you want to explain Search Skip?
All right, search skip is you're gonna see. You're gonna see a death first, but you're gonna see a reverse extended dash jump. Look at that. That's quality, that is. And then a dash through to that hole there, and that skip's having to pick up 2 keys in the previous section. And yeah, the previous section is called Search. It's Search Skip. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that would save about 1 to 2 to maybe 3 minutes, depending on how fast you will otherwise be. It's the absolute biggest skip in the run, and also the first one that most people will learn running this game. We can also getting into the mirror section here, gonna be meeting up with new friends very soon, and Sushi's going into the Theo section.
Yes, he is, and we have Theo right here. He's trapped in a crystal. Story-related things that we won't explain here, but he's in a crystal. And unfortunately, as you might be able to notice a little bit, we can't actually dash while holding him, but because we can dash before holding onto him, we can grab him in midair and conserve that dash momentum. And these little jumps that we're doing, called bunny hops, after each dash, gives us like a continuation of my speed. So, of my speed, of our speed. So I'm not currently racing. That's tomorrow, but yeah.
But yeah, all bunny hops, you conserve a lot more of your momentum in the air than on the ground. So bunny hops are used quite extensively throughout some of these chapters to get extra speed through rooms. Sushi now in the last room here of the Mirror Temple as well, looking to get a sub 5 time, which is a very good time for Mirror Temples. It's good. And Mickey also now in the little unraveling section here with the Seekers here.
Yes, and we saw Msushi practicing the final part of Temple just before this race started, so I was sure that was going to go well, and he ends up with a 4:52, which is a very solid time. He's had a great run so far, and he's looking good.
Really, just one death there in Mirror Temple was really, really good. So now we're going to Reflection, and of course we'll have new mechanics, as we always do. We're first going to see Feathers, which is just, they make you fly for a little bit, and you can actually move omnidirectionally. So it's one of the sections where having an analog stick is far superior to a D-pad. You can also get a lot more speed if you turn very tight corners, which is just not possible to do with a D-pad.
Yeah, I'd just like to clear up, the emphasis of Search Skip is because Swessy and I practiced commentary the first time before we did a race, and we actually forgot to talk about Search Skip in the run. So we try to emphasize that during our runs now. A bit of an inside joke.
So Sushi also going to be seeing some of the Kevin blocks, actually called Crusher blocks, but I'm going to refer to them as Kevin blocks, because of the incredible man that made the noise that they make, Kevin from Power Up Audio. And it's such an iconic noise that you can't really not love that noise.
Yes, and there are quite a few mechanics that we're introduced to in Reflection, like every chapter. We have these feathers, as we've already talked about. We have the crush blocks that we've already talked about. But later on, we're going to be getting a few new ones. There are spikes, okay? There are pink spikes. They're new. We haven't seen those yet. As we see Msushi doing a neutral jump at the top of that wall, just to reach over it. It skips having to pick up a feather, so it's a pretty good skip. And right there we saw him do something else, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, he gets the momentum there from the Kevin block, dashes really early onto those spikes, and makes that block disappear before the Kevin block gets there. Because normally the Kevin block would bump into it, and it would go down, then you have to bump into the Kevin block again, but saves that little bit of time there with a very well-timed hyper dash there. So now we also see these bumpers, which is send you in the direction where you hit them. Have one interesting property in a couple of rooms that we're going to use once in the run.
Another example of using the Kevin's momentum there to send you flying a certain direction.
Mickeynow also in the theory section here, having a fairly good Mirror Temple so far. Unfortunate death there, but otherwise it's looking like he has a fairly good Mirror Temple going.
Yeah, he is being invited around for a cup of tea quite a few times here by these two Seekers, but hopefully he gets through this section pretty close.
Yeah, so now this in Sushi screen here, you see them. He gets a lot of distance there from that bumper. So by holding away the frame you hit the bumper, you actually get about twice the distance, which is used in that one room to skip one extra bumper, and that's basically the only what's it called? The only strategy that involves that certain tech.
Yeah, Mickey's actually having a lot of trouble. Finally gets through that room. He had about 6 unfortunate deaths there, so he is gonna go a little bit behind Msushi after this chapter, but hopefully he can pick it up in the next 2. There's still plenty of race to go, and there are plenty of costly deaths that Msushi could get in Reflection and Summit, which change the tides of this race still.
So you see some shortcuts here, 2 spikes. They have very good setups, the first 2, but the last one can be a bit tricky. There's no actual setup for it. It's also quite risky to go for that, because in the case that you fail, you actually have to go back all the way to the beginning of that room. Normally you would unlock 2 checkpoints, but because we go through those skips, we actually miss the checkpoints.
Can I talk about this bit, because it's my favorite?
Go ahead.
Okay, Sushi is about to do a hyper jump. Oh, never mind. Okay.
I think he forgot the timing there, but he was going to go for it.
He was set up for the Battle and Boost, which is where you can soar and get an insane amount of speed by hypering and then bunny hopping, all on the Kevin block. But unfortunately, he didn't realize how many times the hair was going to disappear from the right side of his screen, which is what we use as timing. So, oh well. We're going to see him in the boss fight now against Battle N. And this is probably one of my favorite boss fights in any game ever, but there's no HP, as you can... Ooh, nice dodge by Sushi.
Really nice save there by Sushi.
Yeah.
Really good reaction.
There's no HP, so you just have to punch her in the face. I think Swessy eloquently put it in our previously commentated races.
Yeah, it's either a punch in the face or just a headbutt. Both work very well. They're quite effective tools to work through your inner problems, which bad lane basically is.
Yes.
So there's not going to be that many new mechanics here in the fight. It's just going to be a lot of clean movement and strategies that have been developed for a while now. So he's going to go through.
What we have seen so far is that Badeline can do two different things. She can hit you with lasers, or she can throw balls at you. And let me tell you, look at the balls on this chick. She throws them very, very well, so you have to dodge those.
Mickeynow has also joined up in reflection here, getting those neutral wall jumps in and moving into the hollow section.
We see a nice tight couple of jumps there from Msushi to dodge waiting for those lasers, basically. So really, really solid reflection as well so far from Msushi. He's had a fantastic run.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Depending on how the rest of this fight go, we could actually see him PB here.
I think we could definitely see both runners PB here.
Yeah,
Mickey is definitely on pace, at least compared to his speedrun.com PB, so at least he'll get a recorded PB in.
Yeah. So now in the second part of this fight, Badline has learned telekinesis and is now moving the ground around her. So it's not going to be that much of a problem for us because we have strategies. But in a casual playthrough, this can actually mess up you quite a lot.
Yeah, we now have these downward sections where throughout the game we've kind of relied on landing on the ground to regain our dash back for certain strategies, but in the level design for this, because whenever you touch Badeline you get your dash back, we're able to have these really long falling sections where you don't touch the ground for quite some time, and it makes for a nice climactic boss fight in my opinion.
Absolutely. Moving, he's now finishing up with reflection here, leveling up and getting a second dash, but more importantly, pink hair. So if you haven't noticed it, the hair color actually changes depending on how many dashes we have. So now we have 2. We have pink hair by default, but then goes to red when we have 1 dash left, and blue at 0.
And this is a 641 reflection, which is a really, really, really good time. So Msushi is on fantastic pace here, especially even for his PB level.
Just 1 death through at the entire reflection is really good. So let's see what his PB was. Let me go find it again.
As we get into the go on.
No, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, so Sushi's PB is a 35-21, and about that level you usually have a 10-minute or sub 10 minutes summit, so he's actually a really good PB pace here.
Right, so yeah, he's in the summit section right now. You may see this section sort of resembles reflection quite a lot, the previous chapter we were on. There's a lot of spikes and things like that, so we just have a little introductory chapter here, and then this is what we would call 0 meters, I guess, for the summit climb. And right after here, we're going to see the 500 meters.
So throughout the summit, we're actually going to reclimb the mountain through all the chapters that we saw earlier. So we're going to see the same mechanics, but of course, since it's the last chapter, they're going to be a lot trickier jumps, and of course also be designed around the double dashes that we now have available to us.
Double Dash was quite possibly my favorite Mario Kart game.
Oh, I absolutely agree. What a good game.
Yes.
And Mickeynow also in the Badline section here. Lost a little bit of time there on Msushi, but he's still on really good pace for a possible PB, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as well.
Something to mention is that at the end screen of each of these sections in Summit, we have Badeline here as a little orb, and as we've teamed up with her, she now tries to help us up the mountain. So she'll throw us up every now and then at the end of these sections. And now we're on the 1000 meters, which is based off of Chapter 2's mechanics. So we have the dream blocks back and many other things that were pretty cool to see in Chapter 2. There are little things that you may see Msushi going for in this chapter, such as using a hyper dash out of a dream block. So we'll have to wait and see if he does that.
It's quite a precise trick and doesn't save too much time, especially in some of these sections where you just chained dream blocks. But what we will see him use is jumping out of dream blocks a lot. I think he actually did a hyper there. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he's done two.
So both jumping out of hypers and especially hypering out of the dream blocks. So you're jumping out of the dream blocks and hypering out of them will give you a little boost of speed. But the hyper input can be quite precise, so still very good to see that from Msushi.
And would you like to talk about the section? Because I closed my eyes during this one just so I don't have to watch it.
Yeah, so this is the reverse sword section again, of course, and probably the hardest section to run. Generally seen, at least, as that has a lot of really tight cycles you want to try to make for the fastest route here, and we're also going to see a couple of really cool strats in a couple of routes here.
Yeah, we may see an ultra here. Okay,
he goes for it, but he missed it.
Yeah,
he's going for it again now.
He's going to elect to leave the room so he can reset the cycles to the entrance cycle because, you know, that's what he's practiced and manages to get the double ultra strat.
Really nice there.
Really good. Just to say what a hyper is, it's a downward right or downward left dash and then a jump pretty close after you dash.
Ooh, Msushi going for the fast cycle there and just barely makes it through before that last bunny hits him. Finishing up now with 51 in each section very, very nicely.
That was a scary screen, I'm not gonna lie, Swessy. I'm
yeah.
This can PB. I'm excited.
I'm also excited. Mickey is also at the end here of the battle line fight, looking to get a really good time and possibly a PB for him as well in the last screen of the fight now. And now we get to movement. Oh god.
Movement?
Nice save there by Sushi getting back to that bubble after response. Very nice. Yeah, Msushi is actually really flying through these sections here and having a really good summit so far, I'd say. Going for a little bit auto scroll skip. No, it actually doesn't go for it. Never mind.
Oh wow, he doesn't. He goes for an easier strat, I guess. You know, it's a tournament race. He's on PB pace, so he just doesn't want to tilt and risk losing a lot of time or even possibly the tournament race. So he plays it safe there, and fair play to him.
Yeah, Mickey's now finished up reflection, so actually not that far behind Sushi, just about 5 minutes. And seeing as how their PBs are like 15 minutes apart, or 10 minutes actually, sorry. Still very, very good. So Mickeynow really does look to be on PB pace.
You see in that room, we don't really do what the room is actually telling us to do by grabbing onto those directional blocks there, and we actually skip a lot of them through the use of our double dashes and our hyper dashes. So it's a cool thing to see how different rooms are used and whether we actually utilize the things that we're given in each room to get through it, or whether we can just dash through it.
So quickly, Mickeynows PB is at 46 something, so he's looking very good. And now comes my favorite section of at least looking at top runners doing this section is really cool because there's a whole bunch of really fast and really cool strats in almost every room of 2,500 meters here. So I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled on Sushi for a bit because I just love this section. Ooh, gets a bit unfortunate there and doesn't get the wave dash properly though. And then gets crushed. Ouch.
He manages to get through it in a pretty quick time. He doesn't take too many deaths to that. And right now he gets key skip, first try, nice and easy. So you go through the screen transition, and then you do a bit of a jump, and then you do a wall bounce, which looks a bit like you're jumping off spikes, but again, you're jumping away from the spikes, so the hitbox isn't activated.
And coming up in 2 rooms here, where I hope we'll see Msushi going for door skip, but we'll have to wait and see. Gets that tight fit there.
First try, wow. And then
yeah, he's going for door skip.
He gets it.
First try. Go for the second one. Get it.
Okay.
First try.
I'm very excited right now. He's on a 31:22 on the timer right now. His PB is a 35. You can definitely do the final 3,000 meter section in less than 4 minutes. So this is exciting. I'd be curious to know his exact PB. I can't remember it.
It's 35:21.
21. Okay, so it is a fairly low 35, but we've got a chance. We've definitely got a chance to see a PB here, and so I don't
Absolutely.
mean to take too much away from the whole race aspect of this, but it does look like at this point that Msushi is it's going to be very difficult for him to lose the race. So I'm just kind of cheering him on, see if he can get a PB in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mickeynow is also looking very much on PB pace, so when Msushi finishes up here in a bit, we'll have to keep track of how Mickey does in the last couple sections as well. Going through now these checkpoints here in the 3,000 meter section. So as you may have noticed, we have downdraft, just gives us high gravity, but we can wall bounce and do a whole bunch of dashes upwards to skip most of it anyway. Msushi absolutely flying through these first screens with some really nice wall bounces there.
Yeah, this first section has been pretty much flawless for the strats that he's elected to use, and it's going really, really well so far. A little bit of a mess up there, but he didn't take a death, so not too much time loss. And yeah, he's going very quickly through this downdraft section. Did you talk about the updraft and wind?
Downdraft I did, but not updraft. We're gonna see updraft now, which is basically the opposite of downdraft. Obviously, it gives a lower gravity, so you jump higher, you float sort of through the air. Which you may think would be good, but actually kind of a few tricky sections here where it might actually be more of a hindrance than a help.
And you will see while Msushi is falling, he'll sometimes press down as he's falling to fall a little bit quicker. It's something you can do throughout the entire game, but especially in this section, it's quite prevalent because you fall very slowly. So the idea is to try and press down in as many places as you feel comfortable to fall quicker.
Yeah, so these couple rooms that Msushi, or these checkpoints here are the longest of, I think they're the longest in the entire chapter, perhaps, possibly barring one of the rooms in 1500. But they're really long rooms and have some tricky jumps right at the end of them, so they can be a bit harsh to deal with. But Msushi doing really, really well so far. So. And Mickey's in the 1500 meter section here.
Really, really unfortunate death from Msushi there. But
yes.
it's not one of the longest checkpoints in the section, so it's not too punishing. But yeah, he's still very much on PB pace. We could see him get a good time here, but...
Ooh, Mickey actually going for the ultra strat there in 1500 and just barely misses the last couple of dashes there. He's going for it again as well. Ooh, nice save there, not going for the ultra. Really nice by Mickey actually. And Sushi now in the last, I think he's on the last 6 checkpoints now. So he's gonna use the feather here for a little bit, and then we're going into the no win section. So we're back to normal for a bit.
And as he transitions into that screen, you'll notice he didn't touch the flag, but it's not risky because you automatically get put through to where the screen transition is if you die at that point. So the flag doesn't actually matter if you touch it or not.
So yeah, Sushi is just about 40 seconds from his PB time. So this is going to be a really, really close one, but he
can do it, Swissy.
Absolutely can do it.
He's really close. We've got one little wall bounce here. He's going to use these dashes. Try not to die on these spikes. Okay, gets to flag 1. This is usually the easy part, but with all the tournament and PB nerves kicking in, there's a chance that he won't be able to get it.
We're keeping our eyes on me. He has 20 seconds still.
Oh, doesn't hit the spikes, and we're clean. Oh, don't retry. Okay, made it.
He gets the PB and wins the race.
Oh, that was a little bit close at the end, I'm not gonna lie. There are a few sketchy moments, but whoa, that's loud.
Okay. Excuse us for a second. Let's hope this helps a bit.
That did help, but I'd still say maybe a little bit lower if possible.
Okay, we apologize about that. This should be fine now, I hope.
Yeah, this is good.
Okay, I'm really sorry about that. I'm really sorry about that, people.
I didn't know what happened. I thought like someone was outside, like banging on the door or something. You just heard this like loud explosion. Okay, we're fine.
Yeah,
we're fine. And now we're gonna watch Mickey finish off Summit, and hopefully get a PB. I will say now, I know you're worried about it, but we can probably turn it up a little bit more. Okay, Mickey going for the auto-scroller skip actually gets it, so that's something we didn't see on Sushi's side, but it's an extended hyper dash, and because we now have 2 dashes, after doing the extended hyper, you know, we can cover a lot more distance.
Oh no, he dies in that auto through those spikes. That's really unfortunate. But he does have about 10 minutes, I think, to his PB time, so he's still on really good pace, and we'll most likely see him PB.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it right now. This will PB. I'm just gonna say it. I don't care if I'm jinxing him. I don't believe in that sort of thing. He's going to PB. It's just seeing what PB he gets at this point. So I'm really excited. I will note something that we haven't touched on quite yet. Although Sushi ended up winning the race, the time that you get in these races actually matters, because we currently have a system where there are 16 groups of 8 players, and the top 4 of each group, oh, really good run from Mickey there. The top 4 from each group end up qualifying for the bracket stage, and if you end up in that top 4, your average times from your races throughout the tournament will be calculated, and then that will be put as your seed, basically. That will be used to determine your seed for bracket play. So the better time you get, the better seed you're going to have if you get out of groups and into the brackets. So Mickey, you know, even though he lost the race, if he gets a really good time here and manages to qualify out of his group still, then that's going to be really good for him.
Yeah, we saw him having a bit of an unfortunate death there, missing the wave dash, but it's really nicely in the second try there with a couple hypers. And getting through that title fit on the second try, very nice. Opting not to go to Dwarf Tip, which I think is a smart idea.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that one. Mickey's on fantastic PB pace, and he doesn't want to get stuck in a room for several minutes. We're into Summit, Swessy.
We are in the final 30 now. So just chat if you would like. We need to give Mickey some more power here and counting down from those 30 checkpoints. So give Mickey some energy.
Yeah, we're about to hit 28 whenever we get to the next one. So I want to see a lot of numbers in chat. Don't give us any wrong numbers, okay? I want you to count perfectly fine. We just got to 28. Let's count them down, see if we can get this PB.
Getting there to 26 and moving on very fastly through these first couple of rooms. Really nice.
I think although he's going fast, oh, he skipped a checkpoint there, which is may cost him if he ends up dying.
Ooh,
what a save!
What a
the
save
reaction
from Mickey.
times to get that up dash was crazy. Well done on Mickey's part. But I was gonna say, like, the speed at which you go here is great and all, but if you're not consistent enough and don't die, then you could lose a lot of time. But he's going fast and really consistent at the moment. He hasn't died yet, so really fantastic first section of Summit from Mickey. I think that was a deathless downdraft section. That was really good.
Even with a little misstep, he gets the save and gets the deathless there. So moving in now to the up-down section, really going fast so far. We might see him PB by even a couple of minutes here.
Let's not jinx him, Swessy. Come on now.
Trying to not to.
Oh, accidentally uses a dash there instead of the wall kick, so he's gonna have to readjust, calm down a little bit here. I'm sure there's a little bit of nerves there because I'm sure he knows how much PB pace he's on, so we'll hopefully see him, you know, regain the speed that we saw in the downdraft section as we keep going onwards. We have the slag right here, notorious for being one of the harder ones in the section, and straight into 13, which is another one. Alright, please don't die in this section, Mickey. We're all counting on you. This gap right here, does he get through it? He
does!
Gets through. Excellent, okay.
The 12th checkpoint here, moving really quickly through. Opts to not go for neutral wall jump there. There we go. Gets to 11 as well.
Saves time on Sushi there by not dying, so maybe he'll still have time to catch up in this tournament, but no, he's
unfortunate death there. After
That's
he misses.
unfortunate. It's fine.
Whoa, he goes for the whole house. That's so risky. That was really cool still. Good job.
Skips another checkpoint, which we generally see most runners do, but it's still risky a little bit. So, thankfully, he manages to get through that fine, and we're into the final, well, the second to last screen transition. We have a little short one here with a feather, but he's getting so close to the end of the chapter, and he has a 46 PB. Let me remind you. So he's getting, I don't know, he's getting a really, really good PB here, as long as he doesn't die a lot in the last couple flags.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, the horizontal dash there is unfortunate. I guess he was preparing his hand motions to put the stick right from the feathers. So.
Ooh, unfortunate horizontal dash there instead of going straight up on this flag here.
Okay, so I'm more than happy to get Sushi in for an interview if he wants to. As we see Mickey finish off his PB pace run. Couple deaths here for Mickey, but he can still do it. He's still a few minutes within his PB time, so he can definitely get a good time here.
Having a shovel here on the third.
So many deaths.
I think the nerves are definitely kicking in here. He just has to get through this.
I saw him take a bit of a pause there. Maybe he's just taking his time to adjust himself. He does. Oh, okay. Oh, he skipped it. Go back. Go back. No, he skipped it. If he dies, he's going to go back to checkpoint 3.
He gets through it all on the first checkpoint now.
Gosh, that is the most scared I have ever been watching a Celeste. But he's there. He's on flag 1. He's right near the top doing a couple wall bounces, couple dashes, and he's going to finish with an excellent 3-minute PB, a 43.33.
Incredibly good there from Mickey. Really well done.
Excellent, excellent race. Both runners ending up with a fantastic time, and that was a great watch. Okay, so we have Sushi right here. He's joining us. Congratulations on your race win.
Hey, thanks.
So, were we right in assuming that was a PB for you as well, right?
Yeah, double PB race looks like.
Wow,
yeah, that's really nice.
Again, we have seen that so many times throughout this tournament, and it's so awesome to see that the players aren't like crumbling under the pressure and are really, really doing well in these races. So, congratulations, man.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, we're not even a fourth of the way through the group stage, and it's already just... If we were to stop the tournament right now, it would be a success, like, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we have like about like at least 75% of races have at least one PB. So
yeah, it's crazy.
Really crazy. It's been incredibly fun commentating over it and getting hyped about it. So.
Oh yeah, you guys are very good commentators. I love this duo.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Can you tell us a bit about your run? Because we noticed quite a few really, really good times there. Was there a gold in there? Was there a ILPB or something? It looked like a very solid run from your side.
Yeah, so starting off, I did feel a little bit more nerves than I was expecting. And I was like plus 20 out of old sight, so that's always good.
Right. Yeah.
That's like classic race. And then I just kind of played my game for the rest, and all of the splits going out there were really well. I did get an ILPB on Mirror Temple, I think. It was high 4, which was pretty good. But
yeah, your Mirror Temple was really, really solid. It was really nice. Yeah, it was at 450-ish, I think.
Yeah, somewhere around there. But yeah, it was all just playing my game, and I'm kind of sad. I had one cheeky death in the end of 3000 that cost a sub 35, but
yeah,
it happens.
So that was a bit unfortunate there, but hey, still got a PB, and it was really, really, really entertaining race. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I would just like to ask you real quick. Is it correct that you're in TGH's group, the TGH?
Yeah, so I'm actually talking about if you guys want a preview of the finals, actually Monday night is going to be me versus TGH, so make sure you stop by for that one.
Oh yeah, definitely. I could definitely, I could see that. Like if you keep improving throughout the season,
Yeah.
I'm sure many players will. It's something that could happen, and yeah, that's in 3 days, the 16th.
Yeah, we just scheduled it last night, but
So how do you feel going into that match? Do you think you can take it home?
I think I'm gonna just try to do some meme stuff. I know he's gonna fool around too with like double bubble skip, all that kind of jazz. So I know there's a very low, unless I just like this weekend just straight up like boot camp Celeste, which I'd rather not. But you know, he's probably gonna beat me, so I can hope is to make a good showing. You know, maybe get another PB and prepare myself as best I can for the other matches in the group.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That sounds like a good mindset there. TGH is, after all, a really good player, but I'm sure it'll be.
Yeah, I heard he's okay.
Yeah, he's
I
alright
heard.
now.
Yeah, I mean, a couple records here and there, you know.
I know this this task guy is like 5 minutes ahead of him, but
Yeah, that's. But I'm sure we're all gonna be looking forward to the race.
Oh, yes.
So
TGH is a pleasure to watch.
yeah, absolutely, and so are you, especially after that race. I think that's the first time I've actually seen you run, so that was really cool
Yeah.
to see.
Speaking of people who saw my runs, I basically have a fan club in the chat. That's what it looks like.
You do.
Yeah,
We
everyone
saw
is.
that throughout.
So you guys are insane, and everyone who watches speed gaming, we're so glad. Everyone here, I'm sure, is glad that we're able to provide this awesome entertainment to you in the form of playing video games fast.
Right, yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking to us, Sushi. Congratulations on the tournament win, and good luck against TGH.
Thank you so much.
All right, man. Thanks for speaking with us.
So we are currently setting up for the next race here in should be just in a couple of minutes here over on Speed Gaming 1, and you're gonna have to deal with me and Salad for a little bit more.
I
so we're going to
apologize.
as well.
Actually, today I'm going to talk a little bit about the schedule for today because
go
we
ahead.
do have 7 races coming up throughout the day. Actually, in the morning, 2 a.m., 4 a.m. as well. So we've got quite a few races coming up, and we have over on Speed Gaming, just twitch.tv/speedgaming, we have Mickeynow in action again. So we get to see if he can PB again, and he's against Louder 14. So we get to see that match. That should be happening in the next couple minutes. So make sure you head on over there and we'll join you very quickly. And then we also have a 4-way race happening at 3 p.m. EDT and at 4 p.m. EDT. We have 2 4-way races, which are going to be really exciting over at Speed Gaming 2 and Speed Gaming 4. So make sure you tune in this afternoon. There's going to be a lot of great races, and I think I'll be there for most of them. You'll have me and Swessy in the majority of the commentaries. So I hope you enjoy this afternoon of Celeste, and yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah, we'll catch you in a couple of minutes over on Speed Gaming 1, so be sure to hop over there for the next race.
I've been Salad, he's been Swessy, and we'll see you later.